Hello, fellow poolsiders. Maximus here to bring you another update. And it's not so much of an update in regards to something new in Clearpool. It's more like food for thought, if you will. So for instance, there's a statement that was made not too long ago from the official Clearpool Twitter. And it basically states, the wall of traditional finance capital, which will eventually enter DeFi, is huge. And when it does, Clearpool is designed to make it simple as possible. So check this out. Vana, who is the new Clearpool Ambassador, one of the most recent persons to join the Clearpool team, posted some perspective in regards to what you see right here. And it says right here, 53% of global corporate bonds issued by institutions equals 21.5 trillion, which means 1% of that is going to be entered into Clearpool, which is 215 billion is what it equates to. So he states 250 billion equals pretty much all of DeFi total value locked today. Clearpool Finance will be at the front and center of institutional lending. Now I know that's a lot to wrap your head around, as far as like those are some huge numbers, but as the saying goes, when in doubt, do what? Follow the money. There's going to be a lot of money that's going to be exchanged for many different types of institutions, borrowers, etc., etc. And a lot of them are just trying to do what? They're trying to raise as much capital as they possibly can. So if you take a look at this, for instance, this is just, again, a few examples of a few borrowers who are doing just that. They're trying to raise capital, and Clearpool makes that happen for them. So the newest one to join these permissionless pools is FBG Capital, and currently speaking, their pool size is about 10.9 million, and they're using about 55% of that, which is a little over 6 million of that. And then for the estimated total APR, it's 16.58%, which is awarded to the lenders in two different forms. One of course is through USDC, and then the reward that comes back to them as well is also CPOOL, the token itself. Now, what I was also going to mention is, when you think about this statement, it's tremendous, because that tells me that we are into an ongoing great project that has a lot of utility. And if you follow any other influencers, or you're new to crypto, or if you've even been around for a while, one thing that is common that you should have been told by now is you want to get involved in coin and token projects to provide a lot of utility. Because if it doesn't have utility, well, like 99% of all crypto projects, you will not see that token or coin project stick around for to the end of the year. You got to have one that has the utility. Clearpool definitely has lots of utility from a retail point of view, with the reward staking and so on. Like for instance, KuCoin, Sendex, etc., right? But also as a borrower, right? Huge incentives as a borrower, as a lender, so on and so forth. So for instance, when we look at the actual token listing, I mean, you'll see that this is up about 4%. I get it, my last video, we're up over 30%, but you also got to keep in mind, Bitcoin was approaching 3,000 short of that 50,000 mark. If you've seen another video I did not that long ago, mentions about how there's three main altcoins I was wanting you guys to look into. Again, not financial advice or anything like that, but when Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing very, very well, it affects the altcoins. So we were hoping, of course, for a big Bitcoin rally. Currently speaking, Bitcoin and the rest of the global crypto market cap is down just a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but at the time, of course, of making that video, you saw a lot of great things, not just with Clearpool, but other altcoin projects, and as a result, those were doing well. And as a result, right now, most of it is not exactly doing all that great. Okay, that doesn't mean that we're not going to see another rally like that. A lot of top influencers, analysts, sorry, my goodness, have stated that they do see that we could be returning to bullish trends here soon. Again, you might have that attitude, why do I put so much focus on Bitcoin and Ethereum? Well, you also got to keep in mind, like I mentioned before, that represents about 81% of the total crypto market cap. Those do well, the rest follow. Yeah, there's ones that of course stand out, like you see some of these that are in the top 100. But here's something to think about, right? Even Dogecoin, for crying out loud, right? The top 100 ranks third for most 24-hour increase, And then on top of that, let's see, ranks 7th overall in volume. So, and sorry to say, but Dogecoin doesn't really have utility. I know it's kind of like an apples and oranges comparison. You may think so, but at the end of the day, the reason why I want to show you, Dogecoin is because, again, that's a project that has no utility. I hate to say that. I mean, I'm investing in Dogecoin as well. Clearpool has a tremendous amount of utility. I know a lot of us have felt as though after the mainnet launch, you want to see things like this go to the moon and so on. Again, it just needs to be a few more things to happen in order to start seeing those things. And at the end of the day, it's all about supply and demand. So just real quick, I want to show you guys something. For instance, you see this term cpTokens, and I've had a few of you guys who were kind of confused, if you will, on how this all works. So I just thought I'd take a brief moment to address some of this. So for instance, there's a difference between cpTokens, right, and CPOOL tokens. So I just want to state that for the record, because I think there is some confusion in regards to that. Some people who are new to Clearpool or just new to crypto in general, when you see this, for instance, posted in their Gitbook or wherever you might have gotten this from, you see the term CP and you automatically assume that it means Clearpool's native token, which is CPOOL. Actually, cpTokens are pool-specific liquidity provider tokens, and they also stated that, for instance, it says, like, for instance, what assets do I get paid in interest if you're going to be a lender? Of course, I'm not going to be a lender yet, maybe later on down the road, but I'm just a retail investor. And the answer is lenders get paid in USDC, which is stablecoin, and CPOOL tokens. It says how to receive my USDC interest payment. Lenders accrue interest per Ethereum block. The amount of interest is automatically calculated, represented by the value of your CP tokens. And it says, again, what are CP tokens? CP tokens are LP tokens received by liquidity providers when liquidity is supplied to a borrower's pool. CP tokens are ERC20 tokens. They represent the amount of liquidity supplied to a pool and accrue the interest rate for the pool. All right. So, for instance, I'm not going to read every single part of this because I wasn't planning on doing a video on lending specifically, but nonetheless, it says each pool has unique CP tokens which start off with an exchange rate of 1 CP token to 1 USD. So that right there should tell you that it's definitely not a CPOOL token, because if it was, then look at this. This would be technically a dollar. This would be like a stable coin, and the Clearpool token is not a stable coin. It's just that it's an altcoin. It's a, it's it's Clearpool's native token. I don't know how else to say it. So two totally different things. I just want to get that out there because I know that some people, you know, I don't know. I think I got maybe a total of like 10 DMs on that, which is crazy. I mean, I'm just a small YouTube channel, but I'm growing. But nonetheless, I always value guys. You know, you always could message me about stuff. I'm glad to address this. Yes, so hopefully that clears the air in regards to that. And another thing I want to point out just real quick is, you know, we are seeing more volume. Maybe it's because people are buying on the dips again. But nonetheless, you know, close to a 40% increase in volume is really, really good. We want to see this back, of course, like I mentioned before, to over 4 million in volume on 24-hour volume. I think it is really something to, well, as we zoom out, it's really something to, you know, just kind of take a look at. Like I go through this all before, like I did in the previous video, but it just, again, it makes you scratch your head once, you know, when they hit a consistent 4 million in growth, and it could be like, let's say for, you know, at least a week straight and so on. It makes you just think, huh, all right. Again, refer to my previous video if you're wondering where I'm going with this. Again, I'm not a fortune teller or anything like that, looking to a crystal ball, but I just thought it was very interesting, to say the least. And then, of course, a little bit more on this. If you want to take a look into this, I mean, for instance, if you wanted to be a lender, you could go to clearpool.medium.com. You can read up on lending on Clearpool. Some people might have that too. Max, why don't you do a whole video on lending on Clearpool? I think it's a great opportunity. I might do it in the future myself, you know, when, you know, I eventually see myself getting there, right? A lot of us eventually see us getting there as far as being like millionaires and so on, being part of the Millionaires Club, and what to do with what, you know, cashing out and so on. You should always have that plan, and then, you know, what to do when you cash out and put it into stable coins and earning interest on it. I get it, you know, but again, this is not a video on focusing on the lending aspect of Clearpool. But if you're wanting to get into that, I highly suggest you take a look onto the clearpool.medium.com platform and read up on the lending protocol as far as that goes. Now, one last thing I want to point out before we wrap things up, and that is this right here. So for instance, you know, you've heard at the beginning of this video, this right here. And of course, that statement of the wall of traditional finance, TradeFi capital, which will eventually enter DeFi, is huge. So some of you guys who may be new to all this might be wondering, well, what's the difference between, you know, traditional finance and decentralized finance? And I found this article, which is also on a Medium, and I thought I would share this with you all because it actually just gets right to the point and boom, gives us what we need. So for instance, it states here, DeFi versus traditional finance. Okay, it says here's an overview of the three main differences between DeFi and TradeFi. So in DeFi, it's the public and immutable blockchain that acts as a decentralized trust source. Conversely, legislative bodies and regulators provide public governance in the TradeFi space, creating central points of control that potentially limit market access and increase the risk of manipulation. As we go on a little bit further, so DeFi, on the other hand, which is decentralized finance, is naturally more open and transparent than what? Traditional financial platforms, which mimics barriers in terms of accessibility and potentially creates a greater sense of trust between customers and lenders alike. This ensures that financial services are available to everyone, even smaller firms and households that may have checkered or non-existent credit histories. And then finally, on the third bullet point, it mentions the highly regulated nature of the trade system, traditional finance system, can make it hard for innovators to participate fully. More specifically, innovators and exchanges must obtain proper licenses and accreditation from regulators before becoming a part of traditional finance systems, making it hard to innovate or create the type of products that truly benefit customers. So I'm going to stop right there for a second and point that out. So in a way, it's kind of like this, right? Let's say you're like the most talented person ever, and for instance, years ago, I actually applied to Activision. I have, my MBA and so on. I was told by some of these game developers, I said, how do you get to where you're at? What did it take to become, executive producer of like Activision and, Electronic Arts and so on? And at the time, they told me, well, the minimum you need is an MBA. And that was a common thing, right? So then I go to apply to some of these positions well after I got my MBA and so on. And long story short, was basically told, well, you've done some amazing things in like Call of Duty 4, made your own super popular mod and all this stuff, but have you done any do you have any AAA gaming experience? And my attitude was, well, no, that's why I'm trying to go to apply to work for you guys, for I can bring my talent to that. And they were like, well, sorry, to state, you're not going to be able to break into this industry unless you're a AAA developer. It's kind of like the age-old saying goes, right? You have the guy who wants to become a manager, right? And he's told, well, you can't be because you don't have any manager or managerial experience. It's like, well, how am I going to get the experience if you don't give me a shot? That's the way I kind of look at it like that. It makes it hard for a person to innovate, right? If you're basically shooting the person in the foot who's trying to do anything innovative. Anyway, so going down a little bit further, the long-awaited question, is decentralized finance the future? And the reason why I'm putting focus on this is because Clearpool is all about decentralized finance and so on, right? And being able to, earn high yields off your, for instance, your stablecoins, etc., etc. And it says, is DeFi the future? So currently we are at something of a crossroads when it comes to DeFi adoption. As while large financial institutions are starting to familiarize themselves with the technology and how it may benefit them, most remain wary of scalability issues and the continued risk of financial loss, regulatory threats, or system vulnerabilities. However, the market continues to replicate the existing financial system, with secure in-browser payments and web authentication likely to be the next step for DeFi technology. This would certainly allow crypto tokens to become a more mainstream payment option online, further aiding the arming of unbanked entities across the globe. And then it goes on to mention, it states, what's clear is that the current level of investment in decentralized finance and the emergence of several third-generation blockchains, which are directly tackling issues of scalability and smart contract execution, makes the future adoption of this technology almost inevitable. This means that it will undoubtedly play a significant role in the future of finance and global banking, with the only question being precisely, like I've always stated before, how long will it be before we see widespread DeFi adoption? All right. And of course, their answer is basically uncertain. So I want to, of course, leave you guys with this. I'm actually going to show you guys just a quick thing on Google. And this is from multiple sources. So of course, the big one that I saw was, this was posted back on January 31st, 2022. It states basically that they see a 20 trillion market cap by 2030. Currently speaking, crypto market cap is right around 2 trillion. You know, keep in mind that this has been fluctuating a lot throughout the week. It's gone up as high as 2.4, but we saw highs for the longest time around October, November of what, over 3 trillion. So for them to state that we should see 20 trillion market cap by 2030, that's pretty huge. And if there is that much of a market cap, and Bitcoin and Ethereum play 81% of that, granted, that percent could change, it could go up, but as the saying goes, it'll affect the altcoin projects. And you know, for Clearpool to be focused on providing a great platform for decentralized finance, well, you know, like I stated before, when in doubt, follow the money. We already see where this is going and how huge it could potentially become. So my attitude when it comes to Clearpool is I am not a short-term holder. I'm actually probably about at least a year or two. Safe to say probably a year, probably 2 years for me. I'm not looking to get out of it anytime soon. I don't look at this as being a you know, what you call it, like a day trading type of crypto. But nonetheless, I just thought I'd do a video in regards to Clearpool, putting a little focus on some of these statements that I saw, in particular this one here from earlier, and so on. I know this is more of a I guess you could say more of a detailed video in regards to some of these statements in regards to the difference between DeFi and CFi. I should state not CFi, but you know, traditional finance and so on. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you know, some of you guys got involved in this mainly from just a retail investor point of view. You might not understand some of these terms, and I'm glad, of course, to be able to explain some of these things. So thanks for watching this video today on Clearpool to the end. And with that said, everybody, I hope you all have a blessed day. Try to have a good week ahead. I know that tomorrow's Monday. And with that said, happy Palm Sunday to you all. Thanks again for watching today's video on Clearpool. May you all have a blessed day, and we'll see you on the next one.